is the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Bristol Flyers Podcast. My name's Joel Osborne, and I am very pleased to be joined once again by my good friend Sam Hardy. Sam, welcome back.
Thank you very much, sir. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good. You had a little ski trip last week. You had to miss out on the podcast, and how did it go?
Mate, you still dialed me in, so that was nice. Got to say hello. The trip was lovely. I was with my family, little nephews, who you run around like little muppets the whole time. But yeah, good, mate. It was a good time.
Sounds hectic.
Yeah, I mean, you have a holiday. You have a week's holiday, expecting to be relaxing, and it's not when there's two little kids running around, is there? Especially when they're not your own. It wasn't my choice.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you missed a good podcast last week with none other than club legend Roy Owen.
I know. I watched it back, and I'm so sad that you decided to put that one when I was away, mate.
Well, that's the only week Roy could do, unfortunately, because it was obviously Easter holidays.
Flip sake.
Did I hold the fort down well?
You did okay. Average jokes, but, it was all right, Joel.
Yeah. I hear congratulations are in order for you as well, because your local league team just won Weber. Is that right?
Well, we've still got one game left, but we technically just won. We won Weber Div 1 with a big old feisty match last night. Couple of ejections, not going to lie.
Sounds like Bristol Flyers versus Cheshire Phoenix, if you ask me.
Do you know what? I'd argue the quality of our game was a bit better than that one. No, I'm joking. More dunks.
Great stuff. Great, yeah, you get up there dunking it.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that game against Cheshire Phoenix a little bit later in the podcast. But obviously that win means that Flyers have clinched third place in the league, so they still can finish second if results go their way this weekend. But the highest ever league finish for Bristol Flyers is great to see.
It's a really weird one because we've been second and first so much this season that in a way you're like, but actually it's amazing that we've got that far up, So
it's awesome. It is really good. And we've got a great episode teed up for you this week, by the way. We've got some great guests here. It's our Delpeche Derby themed episode.
Beautiful.
So I guess it's time for us to introduce this week's guests, and we are joined by none other than Malcolm Delpeche right here in the studio.
I'm back, baby.
And joining us,
can't stay away.
he definitely can't stay away. And joining us on the line is none other, all the way from Sheffield, Marcus Delpeche. Marcus, how you doing?
I'm doing well. It's great to be a part of it. It's excited.
We wanted to get you guys. We wanted to try and get you guys together in the studio. We wanted to make this happen all together at some point, but we haven't quite made it work. But we've got you on the line, so I really appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us here on the podcast. How's life in Sheffield treating you?
It's been good. Obviously, it just feels like every weekend has just been games, like doubleheaders. Like I know that obviously like every team's like played the same amount, but every time I talk to Malcolm about the game schedule, he has like a game on a Friday and then the weekend's off, and I'm looking at my schedule and it's just like Friday, Sunday. So it's nice to see that it's on the decline now. Obviously, with playoffs around the corner, but it's been good. Sheffield's been great. I think we've caught we're on our roll now, and so I think that'll be great momentum for us heading into the playoffs. So it's been good.
Yeah, you certainly are starting to find some rhythm with that Sheffield team. It's been obviously, as you say, a busy schedule for both you and your brother. Have you had a chance to meet up much outside of the BBL schedule this season?
Not so much.
Yeah, there's been a tense.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, my fault. Yeah. Mark, you got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, not so much this season. I think last season we definitely saw each other a lot more, but I think this year, between like my university and working on my dissertation, all that other stuff, I don't really have as much free time. I gotta kind of stay on top of my studies. But Marcus has come down to Bristol, I think 2 times, and then I went up to Sheffield, I think early in the season. But not as much. Yeah, it's been a little bit more difficult this season, especially on the back end, because either he would have a doubleheader and then we have a free weekend, or vice versa. And so not so much this year, but obviously end of the season's coming up, plenty of time to make up for lost time.
Yeah. And Marcus, how are you finding the change? Obviously, it's your second year now with Sheffield. What would you say have been the main differences between your time in Bristol and then your time up with the Sheffield Sharks?
Is that with basketball or outside of basketball?
Oh, I guess a bit of both, I suppose. It's a bit on the court, off the court. What have you made of it?
Oh yeah, on the court, I guess obviously just each coaching styles are different. Obviously I will say off the court, I feel like it's just colder up north. I'm not gonna lie. It's a bit cold. Like the sun's been out all day, but like we've just had this wind all day that's been just like reminding you that the sun may be out, but it's still cold. And then Sheffield's definitely more hilly than Bristol. So like there's a couple times where like you might have to go for a walk. Like our corner store at the bottom of our road, like you have to earn it for sure. But yeah, it's been good. I think like Sheffield's definitely grown on me the second year. Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, I guess from like the games that we've had a chance to watch, it seems like your role has been quite a bit different maybe than previous years, and obviously there's been a bit of change in your squad as well, particularly at that sort of big man position. You've had sort of Ogunyemi come and go, and you've sort of managed to pick up some more minutes as a result of it. Is that something you've sort of thrived sort of the back half of this season?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, obviously, like, as you said, I think the biggest difference there has been a bit of adjustment in terms of just like playing styles like in Bristol versus like me coming to Sheffield. But I think it's just like one of the things about being a professional athlete in this business that you just have to be able to like adjust, and like whatever opportunities is available for you, you just gotta seize it and just like maximize how well you can fit in that role. And so yeah, like obviously like I think like everyone that the Sharks has brought onto the club, I think it's just been a great basketball player and great person individually. So obviously, but at the end of the day, like it is a business, and so I understand when like players have to go, and like when players go, other people have to step up. So yeah, if that has to be me, then I do not shy away from that.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to get you guys on the podcast together as our bit of a Delpeche Derby themed episode. Of course, Flyers, they take on Sheffield this Sunday. It's the last game of the regular season. Big tasty matchup on the cards.
I feel like that wasn't on accident either.
Was that? Yeah, they just put it at the last game of the season.
It definitely was not on accident. I know
like
they planned it. They definitely had to have planned that.
Of course.
Cornballs.
Save the best games for last, surely. The big Delpeche Derby. It's the one everyone's waiting for. It's like the main event.
I love that we just call it the Delpeche Derby now. That's what it's always going to be known as.
I don't know who started that. Was it you guys?
It was us guys.
Yeah, I think it was. We spoke about it in the office.
Joel definitely started. I remember Joel said it first on. It was like in game. He's like, it was when you started doing this podcast stuff, and then like you just said Delpeche Derby, and then the BBL just picked it up and ran with it.
But it started like even like last year, innit? Like
so obviously you had that.
Yeah, from last year.
Yeah. So it's been great. You had some great games against each other, and this is like the first time you guys have played against each other in your professional careers, because the whole way through you guys growing up, you've played in the same team together.
Yep.
Malcolm, how have you found that? How have you found that over these last 2 years now, playing against Marcus on the other end of the court?
Well, obviously, it's just I look for any time I get to share the court with my brother, whether it be on the same team or on opposing team. It's just a blessing. Obviously, that game holds a little bit more meaning just because, like, you know, the sibling rivalry. Obviously, like I'm sure like the Whelan twins. I mean, obviously one of them's not in the BBL anymore, but I'm sure they felt it when they were both playing against each other. So it's obviously just a game that you have marked on your calendar. You want to play well. You want to, you know, if and when we do end up playing against each other in a matchup, you want to dog my brother out and stuff like that. So obviously there's a little bit of that competitive edge, but overall I'm just really excited and just fortunate I get to be in the same country and play and share the same court as my brother.
And Marcus, what about you? How have you found competing against Malcolm?
No, it's been great. I think for me, obviously, it's competing against Malcolm, and then also like competing against my former club. So obviously, like you want to make sure that you want to treat every game like you don't want to treat every game like any differently. But I can't help it. Like it's my brother, it's my old club. Like it's obviously, like I have like great respect for, like I love my brother. And I literally have nothing bad to say about Bristol. So like it's like all love, but at the end of the day, I want to compete and play against them. I know, was it the last time we played Bristol? Malcolm got fouled out, and we had a little bit of banter on. Well, I had some banter. He was cursing me out, but it's just like in those even in those moments, you know, it's just like I love that. You love it, you know what I mean? Like obviously that's my brother. I want him to have a good game, but like if he gets fouled out and we get the win and I get to poke some bun, then why not?
Yeah. I love it. It's amazing. Is that a game you're circling every year? You know, when the fixtures come out and then you see, right, looking at that Sheffield Sharks games, when are those dates? Going to circle those in the calendar?
I think definitely more so last year.
Yeah, for sure.
I think last year I was definitely definitely that's a game on the calendar. But I think now this year's, you know, Marcus kind of alluded to it. You don't want to treat every game. You try to, at this point, you kind of, obviously I'm playing against a brother, so like there is that little bit of competitive edge in that respect. But at the same time, like you try not to get too high or get too low about it. It's just a business, isn't it?
Yeah. So at the time of recording this podcast, Flyers lead Sharks 2-1 in the Delpeche Derby, as we're calling it. Bragging rights currently with you, Malcolm.
Yeah. Not just we're talking about last year. I mean, it's a new season, so I'm not going to work on I'm not going to mention last year. But overall, we're taking the lead, and so we just finished strong. And obviously, even beyond just getting the win, it's just like our coach has been saying it for like the last like week and a half. It's just all about you want to have momentum going into the playoffs. You don't want this is this point of the season where you want to be playing your best basketball, and so we're in a great position, like seeding wise, and so we just want to have those good habits and bring that into the playoffs. So then, like, we're not kind of struggling to find our footing in that first playoffs game.
Yeah, you can't even have who's beaten London more times on each other, because both of you have done it twice now, hey?
Oh yeah, we both beat London.
We beat them at home though. We beat them at their place.
We beat them with Sam Decker, so like
Wait, so did we?
Did he?
I mean, I don't know. I don't watch many Sheffield Sharks games, so I'm sure I'll take Marcus's word for it.
Okay, charge it.
Marcus, I want to talk about that game you mentioned there, the one you came down the last time Flyers played against Sheffield Sharks. You guys were able to pick up the win, and you had a season high. It was 17 points, 12 rebounds. Just talk us through that game, coming down to the Wise campus, because it got to that fourth quarter and you started hitting like mid-range jump shots and everything.
It just felt like an ocean at that point. But I think the biggest thing was just like I think just like the momentum. Obviously, everyone at BBL like knows that when you come down to Bristol, like it may not be the biggest gym, but it feels like you're playing in like an arena. Just like how loud it gets, especially when like Bristol can get going on a run. Like it can get dangerous if you don't like simmer it down. But it just kind of got to a point where we were just like putting a lot of defensive stops together, and then we were also scoring. So then it was Bristol crowd was quiet. And so if Bristol crowd is quiet, that means like I guess the opposition is doing something right. And then I know that for me, like we discussed like earlier in the podcast, like you don't want to treat any game differently. But I just know whenever I step on the court, like against Bristol and against Malcolm, like I just get hyped. Like I just get hyped. And so especially with having like a good game and then just like dominating the boards and then like making sure, and then just making the shots that I feel like I should be making and should be taking. Like I think the combination of all that together, like is kind of just feel like you can just do anything and like with confidence. You know what I mean? So
that mid range you hit, I'd say mid range. It was like a long two. Like that was a bit of a dagger, and it's no. We all agree it's probably not your first choice. You probably want to jam on someone first, but that mid range was a dagger to our hearts, wasn't it, Joel?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
I know. I like one of our photographers got like a nice picture after where I was just like running back because I was just like, yeah, this is a good game for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, this matchup, this Flyers v Sharks matchup, I know the playoffs start next week, and there's lots that could happen this weekend to determine seedings, but this is a real possibility that Flyers could meet Sheffield in the first round of the BBL playoffs next week, a couple weeks time.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of just been like the talk. Obviously, you need to get through like the last week of regular season. But like we're all just talking about like who do you rather play and like where do you just like playoff talk. Obviously, because everyone's kind of like stamped their tickets at this point in terms of making it through and like who you're gonna be like playing against. So Bristol is definitely like a good likelihood depending on who wins and who loses and like this playoff positioning. But yeah, just gotta keep your head down and just like focus on the next game. Then once we get to playoffs, whoever we end up getting, we'll just prepare for them. So
Malcolm, how much?
But like I will say,
go on.
Like I'm just like for me personally, it's just like I'm not sure whether I'd want to see you guys because I know for example, if let's say we don't play Bristol in the first leg. If we won, we would play Bristol in the semifinals. Mm. So it's just one of those things where it's just like if we play in the semifinals, I know it's gonna be like salty spittoons. Like if we end up playing each other and like one team, it's gonna be so. I remember I was telling my team, I was like, bro, if obviously I'm saying that we're gonna beat you guys, so I'm just like if we were to beat Bristol and to move on. it's something where like I don't even think I talk shit to my brother. I'd probably just shake his hand, and be like, "Yo, good game," and keep it going because I know that like it would be too much. It would be too much.
Malcolm, how much would you sort of relish that opportunity to go up against Marcus potentially in the playoffs?
Oh yeah, I mean that game would be exciting. I mean, I want to just as a competitor, and then obviously, like I said before, like especially in the playoff stage, I think just being able to share the court with my brother is just something that, you know, I'm sure my parents back home will be very proud of us, and you know, just being in that environment. So you know, as a competitor and as you know, as brothers and as family members, like obviously I'm gonna relish that. But that said, I want smoke. Like let's
Let's get it.
Yeah, like that's. I mean, like I said, my brother already said it. Like we can't control. We can only control ourselves. So we have 2 more games left this weekend. Get through those games, and then whoever we end up playing, however the cookie crumbles, that's who we end up playing. But you know, whether it be this round or the next round where we end up seeing Sheffield, you know, that'll be exciting. And you know, it is gonna be salty soon, but you know, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. It is what it is, you know. But yeah, it'll be funny.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun game.
I'll be interested to know also what your family was supporting whenever you guys play each other, because last time you came on the podcast, Malcolm, you said that your family has a lot more Bristol Flyers gear, like clothing, like all they have all the t-shirts, the hoodies, you name it.
Yeah.
Marcus, in terms of who your family is supporting, how tasty does that family WhatsApp group get when Flyers play Sharks?
I think our folks have done like a good job being like indifferent about it. Like obviously they just want us to do well. You know what I mean? But I will say that I like on our mom's side I have birthrights because our mom was born in Sheffield. I will say that. And then also in terms of like the whole argument about us having more Bristol gear. Like I was in Bristol for 3 years, then Malcolm's in Bristol for 2 years. Of course they're gonna have more Bristol gear. So I don't really count that as an argument.
I mean, it's a fair point.
Can you stop bringing logic to this argument, bro?
Yeah. Tough.
Great stuff. I tell you what, it promises to be like obviously this weekend could be a little dress rehearsal ahead of the playoffs. Who knows? It could be a really exciting matchup.
Ready.
One thing I've noticed, fellas, is I'm just going to switch gears here. One thing I've noticed is that both of you are very active on social media. Of course, you're both on Instagram, and you're also both on TikTok. And when we had Malcolm on the podcast earlier in the season, we asked him to recreate his toothbrush trick that he put out on TikTok quite a long time ago. And Marcus, I know when you used to play for us at the Flyers, you didn't have a TikTok account and you weren't interested. But it's interesting to see now you finally caved in and you've got one.
Yeah, it's just like I remember I think it was because I was on the back end when I was finishing my master's, and I was just like, yeah, I can't be on that right now, especially when I'm in the heart of my dissertation. So once I finished my dissertation, everyone was just sending me like these TikTok accounts and all these funny videos. And I was like, all right, I may as well download it, see what's happened. And not gonna lie, it's definitely not the best use of my time, but it's funny. It's so funny.
It definitely is. Well, we actually created a TikTok, didn't we? I got the two of you guys together when we were up in Sheffield.
Oh yeah, that one.
No, Joel, like I will say, like you are elite. Like the fact that you were able to get that TikTok in like less than 5 minutes, and I was still able to get my shots up, I was very much impressed.
Yeah, I was looking at Coach Kapoulis to see if he was going to complain or not. Because you know, Coach, he's a very structured time management type dude. I'm just like, I know Coach Kapoulis is rolling his eyes right now. He just wants us to hoop.
I remember it was a Sky game. We're like, don't worry, it'll take literally like 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and
you killed it. You were efficient. Yeah.
So I got the two of them on court. We recreated this TikTok, which we can actually get up on screen behind us, and it's the one off of what film is this off of? It's off one of the
Blues. It's like the dude with the face. He makes that face.
Bro. Zoolander.
Is it
Zoolander.
No, it's not Zoolander.
Zoolander.
So it's off. It
is.
I thought it was off. Off Zoolander. It's like the excuse me, bra. I'm not your bra.
That is Zoolander.
If you're watching the video version on YouTube, you can see it on screen. Go check it out on TikTok at Bristol Flyers if you haven't had a chance to follow Bristol Flyers on TikTok. But a good bit of fun there. Have you guys ever thought about making a sort of joint Delpeche twins account on TikTok at all?
I mean, we're just not in the same cities, so like if we were in Bristol, I could definitely see something like that happening, but we're not in the same.
Yeah, I think that'd be lit. That'd be
hilarious.
I think especially I will say Malcolm Malcolm more than me. Like Malcolm's like is really like creative, like with making his TikTok. I think like there's a couple of his videos that he's made on his TikTok have kind of like went viral. So like I would say like if he can definitely cook up some ideas like when he wants to, and like especially I think it was during lockdown. That's when he was just like cranking these things out, and then I'd be watching them the next day. I was like, bro, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
There is a rating warning.
I was doing bits.
There is a rating warning on Malcolm's TikTok as well, though. So if you if you don't like swear words or anything rude, then maybe don't go check out Malcolm Delpeche's TikTok account, because some of them are pretty some of them are pretty out there.
Yeah, look, from what I've seen, this is rated G on my side. I see some wild stuff on that.
Amazing, great stuff. Well, if you want to follow Malcolm and Marcus on TikTok, where can they find you on TikTok?
Malcolm Delpeche.
Just search your name.
Yeah, search my first and last name.
Is that same
And
for you,
then
Marcus?
mine is at MarkDew102.
MarkDew102.
MarcDew 102.
Go check them out on TikTok. The Delpeche twins. Great stuff. Fellas, right, switching gears once again. I want to take it all the way back to the early days. Talk to us about how the two of you first got into playing basketball.
I'll go first. But so basketball's always been in our household, just from the sense of being fans of the game. Like we watched all the NBA games, all that. My dad was like a Knicks fan. I don't know if he's a Knicks fan anymore, but at least when we were kids, like he had like the jerseys. That was his team. And then I will say we were late bloomers in the sense that, like, we played basketball, we went to the park, we played at school, but like we never really played on an organized team. And so our first organized team was when we were 13. We played for our YMCA team, and like we were just tall, just put them under the basket, they can make a layup and all that other stuff. And then obviously, it's a long story, but yeah. So like I would say like in 13 when we played like our first organized level of basketball, and so
That is quite late, isn't it?
yeah. It is. It's very late, and so I remember like on our AAU team, we found this out later on, like once we were adults and we went off to college, but we were meeting up with our old former AAU coaches, and they actually tried to get us into rowing. Because like for a summer, like we didn't really think anything of it. We just thought it was something to do, but it was only me and my brother, none of our other teammates, and like they wanted us to get into rowing because they didn't think we had a future in basketball. And so like
That's a bit of an insult, isn't it?
But hey, look, we're playing pro now. We're doing bits. But yeah, we were late bloomers. We didn't really. We kind of had to figure it out. Like obviously we had a great community around us between AAU basketball and some other like working out, like a lot. We've had a couple trainers and everything, so we figured it out. But we were definitely late bloomers in that respect.
Who dunked first?
I think it was me.
I want to say Malcolm. I think Malcolm.
I think it was Tower Hill. It was like I remember in Tower Hill. I definitely. I think that was when I caught my first dunk and during layup lines.
What about who dunked first in a game?
I might have dunked first in the game, but
I don't know. Are you sure? Because I was definitely getting more playing time.
I'm not sure, or I don't know. I definitely caught the first body.
He definitely caught the first body.
Like,
he definitely caught the first body for sure.
Yeah.
That's like I might even say Malcolm might have caught a first dunking game, but like I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be the Flyers podcast if we didn't bring up some old photos from the past. So we do have a few photos here, which we can get up on screen. Get the first one up, Fred. Here's a young Delpeche twins.
That's tough.
Down at the YMCA. Talk us through the photo, Mal.
Yeah, we played for the Phoenix Suns. Our team was called the Phoenix Suns. Like that's where all the teams were basically based around NBA teams, and so we were the Phoenix Suns. And I think we went undefeated, and we thought we were.
We got a towel.
Yeah, we got a towel. We did have a medal. You can see a medal hanging behind the towel.
Who's who?
Who do you think is who?
Well, he's put you on the spot there, Sam.
Yeah, I know, but it's really tough.
Hey, guess.
I think
you only get a 50% chance. That's good odds.
I think
I'll tell you right now.
Most people pray for
you're on the
odds.
right. You're on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
That's exactly what I was going to say as well. I don't know, you can sort of just tell Malcolm a little bit different than Marcus.
Yeah.
A little bit
you
different.
can like now, but like there, you're real close there.
I'm a little bit taller too, innit?
well, we've got another photo of the two of you, which you can get up on screen now, Fred, and talk us through this one.
I have my mohawk. Yeah, that was a tough one. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it seemed cool at the time, but this is from our. We were at this might have been in Virginia, but we were playing for our AAU team, the Delaware Elite, And we just we just came off a win, and like we actually won the tournament this game. And my number throughout my AAU career was 40, and 44 is my brother. And I grew up a Mohawk because I wanted to add a little bit of distinction, so then people, we're twins, but at least we don't look alike. And so I was a little bit rebellious in that sense, but yeah, it was good.
You ever thought about changing back to 40 and 44 in the BBL at all?
Hell no, I hate that. Nah, 22. I'm rocking with 22 as long as I can.
Love to see it. We got one more picture we can get up on screen, and this one is from your time together at Bates.
Oh yeah. This was this might have been our junior. I think this might have been our junior year for sure, because we didn't have those jerseys, those practice jerseys, our senior year. But we had our, I think I forget her name, but she came through, took some pictures of us, that one of the twins, and Marcus had a little afro. I kind of had a very unmanaged mohawk at the time, but yeah.
You guys have put on a bit of size since then.
Yeah, we definitely bulked up. But you see the muscles coming in on both of us. You see the little veins, the vascular gentleman.
Great stuff. That's a bit of a blast from the past, wasn't it? Very good little feature. Always try and dig up some old school photos of our guests, and we try and get them on the Bristol Flyers podcast. Obviously, fellas, as we mentioned, as you say, this is the first time you guys are both playing on different teams. One thing I was going to ask the two of you is, could you ever see yourselves playing back together on the same team one day?
Yeah, no, I'd love to. I definitely I want to figure out a way for us to play together on the same team again. Obviously for nostalgic purposes, also just because obviously it's great. I think it's from Andrew. I love playing against him, but I think I would definitely enjoy playing with him more. Like, this is just how it goes. Like, also just knowing that he probably sees things that. I know it because of the fact that we think the same, but also differently. So, even if I'm doing something and he can just give me feedback, hey, what about this? And then obviously, you can have that, you can have those type of dynamics with your teammates, which I do have. But I think it's at a different level when it's my twin brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was going to say, you've both developed so much as well in the last sort of 5 years or whatever, since you played together, yeah?
Yeah.
So, it would be crazy now.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that, we also talked about when we first split up.
The breakup.
Yeah, it wasn't that dramatic. But yeah, me staying in Germany and him going to England, and us kind of having our own identities in that respect, I think did wonders for our career. Because I think what ended up happening that we often, one of us always played behind the other. There's only so many minutes. There's 5 guys on the court, and we played the same. Me and brother played the same position. So I think us splitting up allowed us to kind of develop our game and come into our own. But yeah, going back to what your question, Joel, just I think it would be amazing. We were actually initially supposed to, the opportunity to play on the same team was there, but because of timing, he ended up going to Sheffield.
So what you're saying is Coach K teed the two of you up to play together on the same team.
It was on the table. It very much was on the table. And so, but yeah, I think one of the things, Marcus, I will say, you look at our college experience, one of the things, we obviously have our teams and stuff like that, but I will say, maybe it might be different. We haven't played on the same court for the last 3-4 years now, but we have a chemistry that just you can't really teach, I guess. And so, he will never admit it. He'll always say he's got his 1,000 points.
No, I will. He'll never. Admit it.
Oh yeah. But he got his 1,000 points in college, and I would say I was responsible for at least 25% of those because our high-low game was definitely something that no one really could really check, and I was just diming him up, and I think that definitely helped my career as far as being able to pass out of the post and stuff like that. Because I was always looking. I'd always knew where he was and stuff like that, and it was just we have that sort of chemistry that I think a natural chemistry that I feel most teams have to learn to build that throughout the rest of the season. Where for us, it's we've had that since we were kids.
Yeah, and you got 10 fouls to give up as well between the two of you as well.
Yeah,
so.
you saw I'm leading the league in fouls, I'm second in the league in fouls. I think I got 99 right now, which doesn't make sense. I was telling the group chat it's not my fault that they can't keep their guys getting down the lane.
I love it.
I got 99 problems and they're all fouls.
That's tough.
I love to see it.
That is tough.
Here's an interesting subject I wanted to talk to the both of you about. I actually had a fan come up to me at the Cheshire Phoenix game on Friday, and they said they were a big fan of the Bristol Flyers podcast, and they wanted to figure out a way that they could get in touch, and they just asked me the question. So I'm going to put it here out on the podcast, Sam. They wanted to see if we could get some Flyers player chants going at the SGS College Arena. So you see in football, the fans chant about the players all the time. It's a great little topic. What are your thoughts on that, Sam?
Well, we used to have ages ago when Ananobi was here. The playing what was it? What's the song?
The Seven Nation
Army. Oh, Daniel Adozi, like that.
Yeah.
I think my favorite from Joel was Daniel Dozy gets it to Gozy.
Oh yeah,
No,
you like that
tough.
one, do you?
That's tough. That's tough.
Guess it the gozy. Well, I tell you what, fellas, I've done some more thinking here, and I've got an idea for another chant that could work for not only Bristol Flyers fans, but it could also work for Sheffield Sharks fans. And it goes to the song "Rockin' All Over the World" by Status Quo. Have you heard the song?
You'll know the song.
Are you familiar with the song? Sam's got it on the soundboard. I can get it up here. I'm going to play it. I'm going to chant the song. We'll see what you guys think. Are you guys ready?
You're going to hate it.
Like it, I like it, I like it, I like it, like. Here we go. Malcolm Delpeche in the post.
He hates
Absolute
it. Like
absolute tumbleweed going across here. Malcolm's got this show.
Put that back where you found it.
What do you reckon? Do you reckon it worked for Sheffield fans as well? They could say Marcus Delpeche in the post. See if we can get it going at a game at SGS. What do you reckon? No?
Nah.
Absolutely not.
We're going to do it now, just for that reason.
Yeah, Sam, you know what to do, Sam. You're going to play it at the game on Friday. See if we can get it going with some of the fans.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Great stuff. Well, if you've got any ideas for chants that we could do for SGS for Flyers games, do get in touch. At Bristol Flyers on Twitter. Let us know what chant you want to do at Bristol Flyers games, and we'll see if we'll put it out in the next episode of the podcast and see
what we can do.
what we can do.
That's what you guys. I like that. That's not that, but whatever that was. No, but definitely ask for the fans, see what they got in mind.
That was my suggestion. So if you can top me, then go for it. 100%.
I think we'll be able to top you, Joel.
Hey, yo, what?
Brilliant. This is a PG podcast. Yeah. I got one more thing that I want to get to before we get through this week's news, and I want to ask you guys if you ever have that twin telepathy. So, you can always think what the other twin is thinking at the same time. You ever had that before?
I don't think we've ever had an experience where Malcolm's been in Bristol and I've been in Sheffield and I'm thinking something and he just calls me on a madness. But I think there's been times where we've been in the same situation and we've known what to do just because we're thinking the same thing. But it's never been across cross country where it's just oh, Malcolm's in trouble, let me call him.
Yeah. I think we definitely think the same. A situation or if something's going, we're in an off situation, we're just we need to get up out of here. We don't even have to say anything. We're just yo, we out or something like that. Or on the court. I think again that sort of twin dynamic, it's really unspoken. We just work. So, but yeah, that whole I'm a firm believer that whole twin telepathy thing is a myth.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll put it to the test now here on the Bristol Flyers podcast.
Let's go.
Malcolm, you'll see to your right, you have a little whiteboard just down there with a pen. And what we're going to do, fellas, is we're going to ask you both a series of questions. Malcolm, you are going to write your answer down on the whiteboard. Marcus, you are going to think the answer in your head. What have you just written on the board, Malcolm?
I didn't write this.
What does it say?
I didn't write that.
Sheffield Sharks suck. Oh,
I didn't write this. I'm letting you know I didn't write this.
I wrote that ages ago without thinking.
How did that get there?
Sorry about that.
Anyway, back to where we were. We're going to ask you guys a series of questions. Marcus, I want you to think of the answer in your head. Malcolm, you're going to write your answer on the whiteboard, and we're going to see if we can get some matches. What do you guys think?
Sounds like a plan.
Right.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's go and do it.
First question here. Are you guys ready? So, for question number 1. If Malcolm was only allowed to listen to one song for the rest of his life, what song would it be? Marcus, you think of the answer in your head. Malcolm, you write it down on the whiteboard. If Malcolm was only allowed to listen to one song for the rest of his life, what song would it be? Marcus, what song would Malcolm listen to for the rest of his life, do you think?
There's this German song. It's called Airwaves. I might go with that one because he's the one who put me onto it.
So Airwaves is what Marcus says. Malcolm, turn your board around. What is the answer? Tell 'em
by Coaches.
by Coaches. Well, we got a dud.
Oh, tell them by Coaches. Okay, fair enough. I can see that.
We got no matches that time. We got another question, Sam. You want to go on the next question?
Okay, you both walk into a bar. What is the first drink that Marcus is ordering?
Marcus, don't say it yet, Marcus. Just think it in your head.
Yeah, I already have my answer.
Malcolm's going to write what he thinks Marcus's first drink's going to be down here on the board. Marcus, what drink are you ordering first?
Tequila shot.
Tequila shot. Malcolm, turn your board around. What is it? Rum and Coke or tequila shot?
With
with
tequila
a tequila
shot.
shot.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
got, I think you get half a point for that,
Yeah,
right?
Ah, that's a
100%.
full point, isn't it?
A couple more questions we want to go through here. Who is Malcolm's celebrity crush? Malcolm, write your celebrity crush down on the board. Marcus, think it in your head.
But he doesn't really. Oh, that's a tough one because like I don't really think he's got like celebrity crushes like that though.
Marcus, what do you think? Who is Malcolm's celebrity crush?
So maybe like Holly Berry. Like I know it. Yeah.
Oh, he's gone with Rihanna.
Yeah, tough.
He's gone with Rihanna. No, there's nothing.
Tough.
We got one last question we want to get to here on this twin telepathy quiz. Let's put it to the test. Marcus, I want you to think of any number between 1 and 10. Malcolm, you are going to write
Oh,
what
Lord.
number Marcus is thinking of on the board here in the studio. Malcolm's written a number. Marcus, what number are you thinking of?
6.
6. Malcolm, turn the board over.
Tough.
4.
Number 4.
You know what? My first number was 6, to be fair.
Oh, why do you go with it?
I overthought.
Oh.
You told me not to change my number. You can't change yours either.
It is
There
what
we
it
go.
is.
Well, it
is
doesn't
what
quite
I
exist.
told you, it's a myth.
It's a myth, a big
a
old
myth.
myth.
Twin telepathy. It doesn't exist.
Telepathy.
Or that. Telepathy. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. It was bothering me that he kept saying telepathy.
Twin telepathy. I'll get it right one day. Fellas, that's a great place for us to wrap up this segment of the podcast. Marcus, you're going off to play some Apex Legends now, is that right?
Yeah, gotta get my daily dose.
You get your daily dose of Apex. I'll tell you what, Marcus, we'll let you crack on. Thanks so much for spending some time with us here on the Bristol Flyers podcast. I thought it was really good fun.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having us. You guys are love the podcast. You guys have always been really entertaining to listen to, so
Great
keep it
stuff.
up.
Great stuff. Well, we'll see you on Sunday. Do you have any final words for each other before you guys face off on Sunday?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm sorry for what's gonna happen on Sunday. But it's all love.
Malcolm, any last words for your brother?
No, I got nothing to say.
No,
We good.
not even going to say bye.
All that's left for us to say is, Marcus, we'll see you on Sunday.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks so much,
See you,
Marcus. Take care. See you
Bye-bye.
later. How cool was that, hey?
Wrong words at the end there from him, bro.
Yeah. Love it. A wise man once said nothing.
A wise man once said nothing. I like it. I think that's a great place. Sam, right. Time for us to look at what's been going on around the BBL this week.
This is the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Right, well, here's a look at what's been happening up and down the league. And the biggest news of the week is that Flyers have secured their highest ever league finish of third.
Big news, Joel. I'm buzzing about that. It's so good, isn't it?
Yeah, I think just like every year you can see the clubs progressing. You know, last year was fourth, this year is third. Like, it's going in the right direction. Everything's happening at the right time. We've got the arena coming on board soon, hoping for work to start this year. And the club's just moving forward both on and off the court. It's really great to see.
Matt, I think if we can finish 3 this year, well, we already have finished 3rd this year. Like this, but the way the playoffs work, there's a chance that we can make it all the way to the finals. Really,
Well, it does mean we can avoid London, which obviously is the team that a lot of people want to avoid in the playoffs. But there's no easy game in the playoffs. Like, everyone's beating everyone this season. So
What about Plymouth? That's an easy one.
we don't talk about Plymouth here on the Bristol Flyers podcast.
Oh, they about to get blitzed. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, well, they got to make it to the playoffs first. They got.
Aren't they in?
They got
Right now they're 8th.
No, but they got. They
They got 2 more games. They might not.
Yeah, but I tell you what, Newcastle Eagles,
they
they
might
play on Thursday against Caledonia away, who aren't playing for anything, and then and then here's a look at the league table. Look, they're 2 games behind. The head-to-head is up for grabs on Sunday. Newcastle have to beat Plymouth on the last day of the season by 10 or more for a chance. If they can beat Caledonia, Plymouth play against London on Friday, and if Newcastle beat Caledonia away, If it's a big ask here.
Yeah, that's a tough game though. That's
Newcastle
tough
have
game.
to
So
beat.
Newcastle has to win.
They have to beat Caledonia away, and then they have to beat Plymouth on the last day of the season by 10 or
They'll
more.
definitely beat Plymouth, but
So
Caledonia.
Thursday's a toughie for them.
No. How many people have beaten Caledonia away? This only
2.
London and us.
Yeah, they've only lost 2 games at home all season. However, they're not playing for anything now. They've confirmed 4th, so maybe they might rest guys for the playoffs. Who knows? Malcolm, obviously you were part of that team last year that finished 4th. How important was that for you to do one better to push forward this year for you and for the rest of the returning guys from last year?
I think it wasn't really so much a question about. I mean, it inevitably kind of plays a part in it, but I don't think me or any of the returners ever really approached it from a sense that we need to finish higher or anything. It's just the overall sentiment last season was that we left a lot of money on the table, and that's not something that we wanted to replicate. And so, no one was talking about us. They had us ranked at 9th and 10th, and so I wouldn't say that any one of us kind of feels like we left money on the table or we replicated some of the disappointment that we kind of felt last season. And so I think just Coach always says it best, like it's just the way we go about doing things. And I think the way that we went about this season has been almost in a sense obviously both seasons were successful, but the way we went about doing things this year has been night and day from last season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You were able to close out games that not that you shouldn't have, but last year you may have only closed out half of them or whatever.
We couldn't. A lot of our losses were just within these small margins, and so I wouldn't say we found ways to close out games that we weren't able to close out last season, and it's with a completely new team, and so I think that we're the youngest team in the league. Like the coach mentioned that, which I forgot. I think we might have touched on that earlier in the season, but coach reminded us that we're the youngest team in the league, and we're beating veterans, people who know how to play basketball. A lot of these guys are just starting out in their rookie career, and so to see that the work that these guys individually have been able to do for the collective team effort, I think that's just amazing.
Yeah. And we have to talk about that game on Friday against Cheshire. Of course, Flyers coming out on top 87-73, which completes the season sweep over the Cheshire Phoenix. Big Malk over here, 19 points, 14 rebounds. Malk, what did you make of that game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a dogfight. I mean,
it was a slugfest, wasn't it?
It looked like your game, I guess.
I mean, it's a tough one because you guys all played amazing. And I know there was the drama and the ejection, all the rest of it, but you're also missing arguably one of your top scorers, VJ.
Yeah, VJ was out. We have our own host of bumps and bruises on our end. Even Lonnie just came back from his sitting out against Caledonia. And so, we're going through our own host of things. So everyone, it wasn't just the fact that they were undermanned. We had our own host of problems to go through. So, Coach always said it's not a matter of who's not playing, it's who's playing and how are they going to step up to help carry the load. And that's what the best teams do. They figure out ways to win.
Yeah. Tevin Ollison, game high, 20 points. One of 4 Flyers to finish in double figures. TB3, 19 points, 6 rebounds. Jelani, 14 off the bench, 6 assists. It gives Flyers a 23rd league win of the season, which is the most single season wins in club history in the BBL era.
Still breaking records out here, isn't it?
Every game I like to watch and wait for TB to do something weird, and he did another weird one in that one as well.
Go on, talk me through it.
I can't, not 100% remember, but it's always this weird underside off-balance hook thing that goes in.
Yeah, they did not like that at all. That's a travel. I'm like, bro, he does this every day.
Every game.
He does do it every week.
He's just a bucket. You can't. Honestly, I would say TB's game is if I was a coach, if I was the defensive strategy, I'm just how are you supposed to guard this man? Obviously there's a size component, whatever, to send the biggest guy to him. But even then, you see, he scored against London bigs as well. This dude is just, he finds ways. He's a professional bucket getter, and then it's a hard to scout because it doesn't matter. You take away, you just want to let him shoot. He can shoot the three. He gets close. He just wiggles. He snakes his way and just.
Yeah. I think what I've seen, he holds it longer than I think the normal person would, right?
I mean, he has a crazy vert. So, people probably don't know just because his game isn't really dunking or slashing maybe VJ King. But, we, from our trainings in the weight room and stuff like that, Richard measures our vertical, and he's always been the top guy. He has bounce. And you see him when he gets those boards and he just snatches.
There's one-arm rebounds, mate, like a rugby ball, just tucks it under there,
this dude
and then he goes back up with
TB's
it.
easily one of the most athletic guys on our team for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think instead of getting it under one arm, you could just put them back sometimes. He just, you know what I mean?
He just wants to make it more fantasy is what it is.
Yeah. So TB's, he's, I don't know Yeah.
He is he is a bucket that can grab boards on the offensive end for fun. He just eats them up for breakfast, mate.
I love it.
Obviously, Malk, playoffs are around the corner. Are you starting to look at those potential who we're going to play in the first round? Are you thinking about that now, or are you
Yeah. Obviously, like at the end of the day, we have to get through the regular season. The season's not over yet. I mean, it's great to know that we're kind of locked in for third. And it's a testament to the work that we put in. We put ourselves in a nice situation where we're safe. But at the same time, obviously we're looking ahead, like who, maybe our coach isn't really saying anything at this point, but, between like the echo chambers of the locker room, we're like, oh, well, maybe it's Manchester because Manchester's moved up. Chester's moved up as well, I think. And so, we're looking around, but at the end of the day, like we can only control what we can control, which is ourselves.
And there is still a chance that Flyers can finish second. They have to win both games and have to rely on Leicester to lose both games. But we've seen stranger things happen in the BBL.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we just control the controllables. So whoever we play first round is who we play first round.
Yeah. Other news that going on around the league this week: London Lions have announced that NBA star OG Ananobi has become part owner of the club.
Pretty cool.
Pretty impressive, huh? He's invested in the team. He's now a part owner. He joins the ownership group alongside the American 777 partners. He purchased a minority stake in the team.
First British. He was the first person from Britain to win the playoffs, wasn't he? NBA playoffs.
In 2019 with the Raptors. So he's playing with the Toronto Raptors out in the States and I say in the States, in Canada. And Malcolm, what have you made of the investment into the league this season and how much it's grown over the last couple of years since you've been back in the BBL since the Americans have come on board?
I mean, yeah, it's obviously this great for basketball. You see a lot of the steps that the BBL has taken. Like when I think about where the BBL was when I first came, in 2017 to 2018, and where it is now, it's night and day. I mean, I can only speak mostly from the Bristol standpoint because obviously this is the only team I played for. But you look at the social media has been better. I mean, the way that they're posting, the sponsored ads, the content creation, the way that you go to each game, and if you're watching the game online, you see how they're explaining how the basketball works and stuff like that. So there's a real basketball isn't necessarily the premier sport in England, but you see the push that they're trying to make it as close to the NBA basketball as possible. And so that added value that for maybe the unfamiliar with basketball fan is experiencing, it's just you see that push. And so I think it's just great for the league. And obviously it's great that London can be the one holding the torch for the rest of the league. And then all we can hope is that the rest of the other teams within the BBL experience that for themselves as well.
Yeah, it does seem that there's a real strategy now into their marketing plan in terms of introducing new people to basketball. You're seeing better talent come over now. You've got London now bringing NBA players as well, and then going forward, obviously you see more and more teams. This year, you saw London in the Euro Cup, Leicester Riders were in the Basketball Champions League qualifiers, and hopefully going forward we can see more teams playing European basketball. Other news around the league, speaking of London Lions, Mie Oni has received a one-game ban for his recent antics against the Manchester Giants. Did you watch that game, Stan?
Yeah, I did see. Did you see what he did?
No, can we see it?
I don't know if Fred can get it up on screen. I probably won't be able to get it up on screen. But I can tell you, it was late in the third quarter, Manchester Giants playing London Lions.
Yeah.
Picks up a technical foul. He goes back to the bench.
What was the tech for again? I forgot.
It was basically he felt like he got fouled and then he turned and faced the referee and was that's a foul, and then he got beeped up straight away. And then he went back on defense and he must have still been talking because he got a second one and he was out of there. And then on the way back to the locker room, he was flipping the bird, as we like to say, to the fans in attendance at the game.
Is it?
He was walking past the crowd, high-fiving all the crowd as he went off and then into the locker room. So he receives a one-game ban. He also receives 12 penalty points in FIBA's penalty point system. He gets a fine of 1 week's wages, and he must sit the BBL's abusive behaviour training module.
Oh my lord, that's a toughie.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Well,
is it a lot? I don't know. It's not okay, is it?
You shouldn't really flip the bird at fans, but it's not a good example to be setting.
I think a lot of the off-court stuff's kind of fair, and I think maybe it should have been more than one game, Joe. I don't know.
The week's wage. I know that hurts.
Well, yeah,
that hurts.
that's tough. Obviously, they do the point system. So if you accrue 10 penalty points, you miss a game. If you accrue 20 penalty points, you miss another game. Here's a segment here. From
this is the London League.
This is London Lions. So obviously this is the foul here.
That probably is a foul.
Yeah, he turns and faces the ref. You can see him there. He's shouting at the referee. There's the first technical foul, and then things escalate a little bit, and he gets pretty wound up by the call, and he eventually gets ejected from the game. You see him there talking to Coach Ryan Schmidt, basically saying he's got to leave now because he's picked up his second technical foul.
Yeah, he's
and then he is all riled up now.
He wants to be Draymond Green so bad.
He's getting the fans. He's getting the fans involved. He sees some of the. Oh, there you go.
No, that's clean on the video as well. That's so clean.
It's 4K. You can't deny it. You can't even say it wasn't me.
And there's the bird. So yeah, he gets a 1-game ban. He misses a week's wages, and he picks up 12 penalty points. So I think the next one after that would be 20. If you get to 20, you then get another game ban, and you get points for things like technical fouls, like things like that going forward. Things like 2 points for a technical. Or
Still
like
going.
Yeah, you see him high-fiving fans on the way out as well, and everything like that as well. So there's a fan trying to get a video selfie with him, and he gets ejected from the game. So
whatever happened to that Sloan? What happened to Sloan? Did he get ejected?
Well, that's another story. Sloan v. Cohen. Did you see that on the weekend?
This dude looked like he wanted to take his head off.
Yeah, but did you see the video that someone put out before that of what Cohen did to him?
So Cohen does a cheeky little slap, and then
hits him down, doesn't he?
And then Sloan looks like a push or a punch. I don't know. He wasn't a punch.
I think he goes for a push, and it's like, and he misses.
Yeah, he misses
through his arm, and it looks like he's like.
And that was on Sky Sports, so that was in 4K. So that was interesting. that really was. But no, tasty. That's what we love. I know it's like controversy, but we do love it. It's like handbags. It's what basketball's all about.
Yeah, what handbags? Is that what it's about?
No, but you know what I mean. Even in our game against Cheshire with the Larry Austin thing, there was like a bit of drama there. It makes the game more exciting.
Did you see around the corner, and it's just everyone knows, emotions are high.
I don't think I've talked about this. I don't know if you have, Joel, but Larry Austin started them coming back on the court. Did you see that?
He left,
and his coach is literally going, "You get back in there right now," because it does escalate. Because if you see what doesn't happen, worse things can happen. They need him for the remainder of the season, right?
So, yeah. So it definitely got testy in that game. So yeah, that's the latest news there in London. He serves that game, that 1-game suspension this weekend in their last game of the regular season against Caledonia Gladiators. So he'll be back in time for the playoffs. Other news around the league: there's still time for you to nominate your local basketball coach to be named Community Coach of the Year. Of course, the BBL is running Your Coach campaign. So if you've got a coach who's doing above and beyond in the community, you can get on Twitter or Insta. You can post a photo or a video of your coach using the hashtag YourCoach. Explain in the comment section why your coach should be named Community Coach of the Year, and you could win up to 20 playoff tickets for the final at the O2 Arena. And even you can also win a new playing kit for your local team as well. So get your entries in for that competition. Speaking of competitions, there's another competition that Bristol Flyers are running right now, and it's called the Web Games Never Stop Learning Challenge. You can win yourself a pair of Flyers playoff tickets by recreating Mike Miller's dribbling workout over on the Bristol Sport Foundation app. I think we've got a video we can put up on screen here, Fred. We put this video out. There's Mike Miller's dribbling workout, 2-ball dribble, followed by some behind the backs, I believe, and then some crossovers. If you're a junior fan and you want to win 2 tickets to watch Bristol Flyers in the playoffs, you can film a video of yourself recreating these drills, upload it to the Bristol Sport Foundation app, and you could win 2 tickets to the playoff final, the playoffs for Flyers, and you could win a free day at a Bristol Flyers summer holiday camp.
There you go. Worth doing then, Joel.
Yeah, incredible. We had a great winner come through. Obviously, Roy Owen picked the winner last week for the Tevin Ollison shooting challenge. We've got one more challenge coming after this one, and that is Malcolm Delpeche's post-workout video. We did that the other day, didn't we, Malcolm?
Come on. Yep.
We filmed the video, so it's going to be coming very, very soon indeed. Entries closed, by the way, for that on the 25th of April. Other news around the league. Here's some fun news for you, Sam. Teddy Toss is happening at this Friday's game against the Surrey Scorchers. We've teamed up with the Bristol Sport Foundation to raise money for both the Grand Appeal and Teddy Trust on Friday night. So instead of buying ducks, we're asking fans to bring their pre-loved teddy bears. If you've got a teddy bear that you no longer want, bring it down to the game at the SGS Wise campus. And at half-time, we're going to launch them all onto the court. Have you ever seen those videos doing the rounds in ice hockey, Sam, of the viral teddy bear tosses? We're going to try and recreate that at the SGS Wise campus. And don't worry, if you haven't got a teddy you can bring with you, we are going to sell them at SGS Wise campus. £1, you can buy a bear to throw on court at half-time. So get as many bears as you can, bring them down with you, buy some off us at the SGS Wise campus. All money raised from selling the bears then goes to the Wallace and Gromit Grand Appeal, which is the official charity of the Bristol Children's Hospital. So there's also other great fundraising opportunities happening on the night. So the students are running things like a Guess the Score competition, a vertical leap challenge. And we've also got performances from the UE Comets cheerleading squad at the game as well.
Look, there's a lot happening. We're looking for 1 million teddies. So
yeah, well, it's going to be raining bears at the SGS Wise campus. So bring your teddies down to the SGS Wise campus, and it should be a great night of entertainment, all for a very, very worthy cause. Right. I think that's everything in our news section.
There's a lot of information.
That is a lot of our news section. It's time for us to finish off the episode with this week's mailbag.
You're listening to the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Actually, before we get to the mailbag, I forgot to do one thing, Sam.
Is it Word of the Week by any chance?
It is Word of the Week. And before we get to the mailbag, we've got to get through this. Last week, we spun the wheel, and it landed on the phrase, Delpeche for 3.
Fitting. Here he is now.
He is right here in the studio, and thanks to the guys at the Leicester Riders podcast who suggested us saying Delpeche for 3, we added it to the wheel, we gave it a spin, and it landed on that phrase ahead of the game against Cheshire.
Did you get it in, Joel? That's the big question.
I can tell you I did get it in because it landed to me on a plate. It's ended the first half. We've got 5 seconds to go. Who does the ball land in the hands of? None other than this guy here, Malcolm Delpeche. Sam, should we take a listen?
There's 5 seconds to go. Maceo Jack. Miller's on him. It's stripped by Smith. But Delpeche has to shoot. Delpeche for 3. Oh. And it just off the back iron.
It was close as well, wasn't it?
It was close. And if that had gone in, that would have made the clip even better.
Even better.
Let you down, Joe. My fault.
The thing is, I've got something to tell you, bud. Joel doesn't believe in you. He had to get it in before this because he didn't believe you were actually going to shoot a 3 in this game. Is that
How
right,
many
Joel?
threes have you actually shot this season?
I don't think I have.
Yeah, that's why. Because I was worried about I wasn't going to fit in
Shot
Delpeche
plenty
for
in
3.
UE, but not for not BBL.
So I can tell you, I also got it in the first half. I said Delpeche for 3 before you hit that. Before you shot that half-time shot. And this one was talking about Flyers on the offensive rebounds in the first half. Sam, take a listen to this one.
Flyers, 4 offensive rebounds in this game so far. Delpeche for 3 of those.
That'll count. It
works.
Count.
Delpeche for 3. I'll take it. Yeah, so it worked. And I stopped. I said Delpeche for 3 of those. So it worked.
It counts.
Definitely.
It counts, Joel. I'll give you that one, mate.
A double whammy. So that means we've got a space available on our wheel, Malcolm. And we would like you to give us a word for us to add into that space before we give it a spin ahead of this weekend's game against Surrey. What do you think?
Yeah.
Whichever word you suggest, and if it lands on it, I've got to squeeze it into the broadcast. So,
Hoya.
Hoya?
Yeah.
As in, can I get a Hoya?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that'd be hilarious.
Okay, so we'll add the word Hoya. Right, Sam, get ready to play the noise because it is time to bring on the wheel. You're going to have to chuck me that pen from earlier. There we go.
I don't even know how you spell this. You're going to spell it for us?
It's just.
I think it's Hoyaa.
Yeah, a lot more O's though. Like,
Hoya.
drag it out. You know what I'm saying?
Hoya.
Yeah, that part.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. So Hoya is added to the wheel. I really hope it doesn't land on Hoya, please. I'm begging.
Can I spin the wheel this week, Joel?
Yeah, where are we going to put it? I want to put it somewhere so Fred can... I'll tell you what, I'll move it into the middle of us so then you can give it a spin. Whoop. There we go. Right, the
What
wheel
is that
all...
word say?
Which one?
That one.
Oh, sternocleidomastoid. That was a word that came through from Dr. Craig Barden.
It's a
I'm about to
muscle,
say,
I
that
think.
sounds like, yeah.
So thanks for that one, Craig. I really hope it doesn't land on that one because that is the muscle in your neck. It is located right here. Apparently so. He's like, yeah, I'll give you a really hard word and it'll be a muscle in your neck. Sam, right, it is time for us to spin that wheel. Let's go. He's gonna do it properly.
No, look.
Whoa! I'm gonna spin it. Let me spin it.
I'll spin it properly. Ready?
Sam's gonna spin it. You gotta get your soundboard
I'm
ready as well. Okay, ready. It's time for us to spin the wheel. Here we go. Where's it landing? Oh.
Hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus is the word for this week. Oh,
I like
no.
that. Nice one.
These words get worse and worse every single week, and now I've got to try and get the word hippopotamus into the broadcast for Friday's game against the Surrey Scorchers. And you can watch me try and do that live on the BBL YouTube channel, 7:30 p.m. this Friday night.
This is the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
We only got a couple of questions to get through on the mailbag, so it's time for us to wrap up this week's episode with our mailbag segment. And we had some great questions come through. Here's a couple of questions from Chelsea SB on Instagram. First question, and we actually put the questions out to the twins, so it's for both of you, but obviously Marcus not here, yeah. So the first question, in a dunk contest, who's winning between the two of you?
Hey, I've never been to a dunk contest, so I'll give it to Marcus. I think he's developed a level of creativity that I just don't have in my bag right now.
I wanted to get your thoughts actually on Marcus's dunk contest. He's done the dunk contest for the last 2 years, isn't he?
Yeah. And last year he didn't do a good job, but this year I think he made all of his dunks too. So I don't know if you've seen a YouTube video doing the rounds. It's like a British guy commenting on the former BBL player.
Or is it an American guy? There's the Josh Steele video talking about the BBL dunk contest.
I know what you're
and then the
talking
year
about.
before, there was another video of this guy who just gives his opinion on the BBL dunk competition. And
is he laying into it?
Yeah, Marcus gets...
he gets roasted.
He gets roasted in it. So if you get a chance, give it a search on YouTube. It's quite a funny video on YouTube.
I love it. Okay, another question. Chelsea on Instagram also wants to know, did your parents ever dress you up in matching outfits? And if so, what was the fit?
Yeah. I remember we had the same Spider-Man outfit at one point, but I think it was like more so for pajamas. But yeah, I was the twin that I kind of put my foot down at some point. I forget how old I was, but I was like, you got to stop buying us the same clothes.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Next question. Matt Hardy from BBL Daily. He's been in touch on Twitter, and he says, former Miami Hurricane basketball twins Haley and Hannah Cavender have left basketball to go to the WWE. There they are.
Yeah.
They've left their college careers to go and join the WWE. The question from Matt Hardy is, if the Delpeche twins were wrestlers, what would their most devastating finishing move be?
Oh, man. I don't think it, yeah.
I think I remember a video you doing back in 2017-18 with us, and I think you said something like, if I was a wrestler, my name would be Senior Bass, and my finisher would be Drop the Bass.
I think maybe the finishing move would be drop the bass. I think that would it. But unfortunately, I remember that question.
Do you want me Senior Bass?
No, I would change my name for sure. But
what would the tag team name be?
I don't know.
The Delpeche Bros.
Nah.
What does he say, Fred? Drum and bass.
Drum and bass. You be the bass. Marcus be the drum.
Yeah, let's go with that. I'll go with
drum
that.
and bass.
Nice, Fred.
And the finisher move is drop the bass. Great stuff.
Which is where he grabs you, puts you up on a ladder and drops you on the other person.
Yep.
Tap him out. Boom. Drop the bass. Nailed it. There we go.
Drop the bass.
Next
1, 2,
question.
3, ring the bell. It's
1,
all
2,
over.
3, ring the bell.
And speaking of ring the bell, it's time for us to ring the bell here on the podcast.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place for us to wrap things up. We've got a bit over this week on the podcast, but you've got more entertainment for you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a fun episode, wasn't it, Sam?
Yeah,
This one
very
was hilarious,
nice.
I can't lie. It was pretty hilarious.
You never know what's going to happen here on the Flyers podcast, and this one was the same. Malcolm, thank you so much for joining us this week on the podcast. Thank you. Please pass our thanks on to Marcus as well for dialing in for us as well. Big game. Best of luck for the games this weekend. Of course, Surrey on Friday and Sheffield Sharks on Sunday. You can watch both of those games on the BBL YouTube channel. Sam, anything else you want to add before we wrap this show up this week?
No, it's been long enough already, Jolly.
I've got one more thing maybe to wrap up on the podcast, and that is we are very close now to finalising our end of season finale. and we're hoping for this news to come out very soon. I think we're going to do it the day after the BBL playoff final. So it's
Great.
Monday the 15th of May. The podcast will probably drop on the Tuesday because we'll pre-record it. But that's news I've got for you guys about our end of season finale. I can't tell you too much more about what we're going to do, but do keep your eyes peeled on the Bristol Flyers website for all the info regarding our final episode of the season. We're basically going to keep running weekly episodes now up until the day after the playoff final, and then we're going to take a big break for the summer. Admin's Glasto time. That's
Beautiful.
what we're doing. Great stuff. That's it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of the Bristol Flyers podcast. He's Sam, I'm Joel, and we'll see you same time next week here on the Bristol Flyers podcast.